We back with another Larry Bird banger. We back to see some more about Larry Bird. I actually learned a lot from you guys down in the comment section below, so I want to say thank you to all of the people down below in the comment section on the first Larry Bird video who gave me all the information, all of the videos that I need to watch. It was very helpful, and I appreciate y'all giving me so many positive messages. It actually helped me out in my life. I'm going through a transition in my life, and I appreciated everybody who dropped a comment. Whether I got to reply to it yet or not, I'm gonna try to reply to all of them. But it was so many comments, y'all. Like, I was honestly overwhelmed. I was out of town, and I just comments throughout the day. So I decided let's react to the Making the Case of Larry Bird. I've seen this one a lot in the comment section below, and this time we're gonna switch it up and have the face cam at the bottom so that y'all can see the full video, man. Let's get straight into it and see what's up.
The size of the court and the lack of pads or helmets give fans the most intimate experience of a team sport that exists.
Okay.
And because of the different styles that basketball allows for, players develop their own distinct identities and signature styles through their creativity.
I think that's the cool thing about sports. Is everybody's unique identity. Like everybody knows.
And although no player succeeds alone, the scoring volume and two-way nature of the sport give individual stars a nearly unprecedented amount of control over the flow and outcome of a game. For this reason, players are constantly compared to their peers and to the legends of the past in order to answer the most hotly contested question in the sport. Who's the greatest to ever do it? For many, the question is redundant. They believe in only one right answer, their answer. Others might have their own personal stance, but
I want y'all's comments down below. Who is your top 3 NBA players? I don't know mine because I haven't really been up to date on the basketball, but I feel like LeBron James, in terms of his longevity and the amount he's accomplished, is one of the greats. I feel like he probably could do a little bit more in terms of championships, but we can't deny the fact that not only is he iconic in the fact that how he got into the NBA, but you know, his longevity and the history, and especially if his son played and he's successful, then that's going to add to the legacy. But I think he definitely going to go down in history as one of the greats. Larry Bird, I'm learning now that he definitely in the discussion. Michael Jordan got to be in the discussion. Magic Johnson. I don't know. Who your top 5? I'm not even going to say 3. Who your top 5, man?
acknowledge one or two alternatives, but I believe that there's much more nuance to the question of greatness and more answers to it than you might think. By my count, there are 8 players in NBA history that have a substantial claim as the GOAT. It's a subjective thing though. I can't give you a definitive answer. All I can do is make the argument. So today, I'll be making the case for Larry Bird as the greatest basketball player of all time.
Larry Bird, the greatest of all time? Okay, let's mute this audio. Larry Bird, the greatest of all time? How y'all feel?
When it comes to basketball, Larry Bird is the smartest, clutchest player to ever play the game.
I didn't know he was clutch.
If you don't think that Larry Bird is the greatest basketball player of all time, you probably hate that I just said
that. Oh my God.
Those are the kind of talking head sport cliches that surely impact the game, but are impossible to empirically measure.
Yep.
Normally, I'd agree with you, but I think that when you talk about Larry Bird, you see those intangibles become real, palpable results. I wouldn't have said it if I didn't believe it. When Larry Bird was drafted by the Boston Celtics in 1978, the NBA needed saving. Attendance was in the toilet, the league had few marketable stars, cocaine addiction had several players in its grasp, and most damning of all, playoff games were
That's the crazy thing about it is, like, people gonna have a life that you would imagine to be your dream life, but you never know what's going on behind those closed doors. You never know what somebody's struggling through. You never know where somebody's heart is. And you can never know that type of stuff. So don't be quick to, I know we look at people from the outside looking in and we are the audience, but you never know what somebody going through. So don't be so harsh and so quick to judge people when you don't know what they're going through. They could be going through a cocaine addiction and you not even know it. Like
being tape delayed. Playoff games at the highest level of basketball were being put in the back seat for black and white movies and network reruns.
No,
But rather than join the Celtics after being taken 3rd overall, Larry Bird decided to return for his final year at Indiana State, a decision that would prove to be one of the most important in the history of the sport.
Dang.
Bird's final year saw the Sycamores tear through college basketball, going 33-0 before the national
Do he have any college highlight tapes?
championship game. Bird, already claimed by the NBA's most historic and prestigious franchise, had established himself as the generational talent who would inherit the mantle of pro basketball.
Celtics really
Indiana State's opponent in the national championship was Michigan State, captained by the immortal Irvin Magic Johnson. The Sycamores lost the championship to the more talented Spartans in the highest rated game in the history of basketball at any level still to this day. The stage had been set.
Wait, hold up. So Larry Bird and Magic Johnson played against each other in college and Magic won. Is that what I'm hearing?
Next decade of basketball would be defined by the rivalry between the white hick from French Lick and his Boston Celtics and the black Magic and his Showtime Lakers.
That's low-key
The rivalry between
movie-like.
Bird and Johnson is entwined.
That's crazy. So they were playing movies. They were prioritizing movies over basketball, but when these two hit the scene, the rivalry, which was low-key like a movie, started taking front page.
Into the fabric of the NBA and is worthy of 100 documentaries.
That's cool.
In this video, though, we're going to be looking at Bird's claim of supremacy. Here's Bird's basketball resume.
Okay,
his 3 championships come with perhaps the
MVPs.
highest collective degree of difficulty of any player's championships. His 3 MVPs came consecutively, making him only the 3rd player to accomplish the feat, along with Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. His 2 finals MVPs are misleading. He was absolutely the best player on the '81 Celtics, but he was only a sophomore, and his 15 points per game in the finals gave the media an excuse to exact a little vengeance on a legendarily difficult interview. His All-Star and first-team selections also come with the caveat that Bird only played for 13 seasons and missed all but 6 games of the '89 season following surgeries on both feet.
This is probably crazy.
I can hear you already. A 13-year career, and this guy is supposed to be the GOAT? What color of paint are you huffing, Clayton? Green, obviously. But hear me out.
I wonder if people
Bird's career
appreciate it.
lasted about 2/3 as long as it should have. But what he did in that time was so impressive and so substantial that every basketball fan acknowledges that he's in the conversation as the greatest ever. Doesn't it matter that those 13 years saved professional basketball, delivered a disproportionate amount of memorable moments, defined the golden age of the league, and produced a career by which all other forwards, before or since, are measured? Bird squeezed every drop of talent out in those 13 years and made it seem more like 30. He didn't just leave his fingerprints on the game. He left so much of his DNA in the sport that it needed a cigarette afterwards. There's something to be said about the candle that lasts half as long but burns twice as bright. Those 3 MVP years stack up with any other run by any other player. I will put an A+ Larry Bird season up against anyone's. What does an A+ Larry Bird season look like? A full box score, a blowout win, a nearly undefeated record at home, and a play style that could only be described one way: white. Larry Bird isn't just a white basketball player.
Bro, we have to check out the passing video. Did y'all just see this pass, bro?
Described
Look at this
one
crazy
way:
pass, bro.
white. Larry Bird isn't just a white basketball player. He's the white basketball player. To describe Larry Bird's game is to thumb through the Hoops dictionary and pick out every cliche about white players. Unathletic, great shooter, good fundamentals, the whole thing. The archetype of a white basketball.
See, and I believe that if you want it bad enough, you don't have to be the most gifted person. You know what I'm saying? You can really go out there and work your hardest and be the best you can be and still make an impact and still be great.
Player is Larry Bird, with one exception. He had an unparalleled understanding of the game of basketball, both as a physical contest and as a mental competition. His basketball IQ infected everything he did and catapulted his career into legend. Bird was a complete player. Jerry West called him nearly as perfect as you can get. He was the league's first great marksman. He could contort his body to shoot from anywhere on the court, regardless of the level of defense.
I remember
seeing that. He pioneered the art of the dagger 3 and was the founding member of the 50-40-90 club. At 6'9", Bird's understanding of angles and coordination led to a higher rebounding average than Patrick Ewing, and it made him an impressively adept finisher in his younger years.
Y'all know it would have been crazy? Y'all remember that documentary or that show on Sports Center where it was sports science, seeing a Larry Bird sports science video would have been amazing, y'all. Let me know if y'all think that would have been a good idea in the comment section below.
86,
That
Bird
would've
dropped
been fire.
47 points on the Blazers, playing the majority of the game left-handed.
What?
His lack of quick lateral movement meant that Bird didn't do much when it came to slapping the floor and picking up the opposing point guard, but his size and omniscience gave him the ability to body similarly sized players, read defenses like a free...
Hey, man, look at the disrespect that he just did. He grabbed the ball, looked around like, y'all kidding me? Get him up out of here, man.
And omniscience gave him the ability to body similarly sized players, read defenses like a free safety, and pick off passing lanes with ease. His passing was transcendent, and I'll highlight it later. And of course you need to know that Larry Bird was a tough MFer.
We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled...
Later. And of course you need to know that Larry Bird was a tough MFer.
That tailbone.
He had a superhuman motor and dove for loose balls like a beagle at the park. He was a willing participant in his share of fights, often precipitated by his league-renowned trash talk.
I like Larry Bird. He really give me I'm a man type of vibes. And that's, I gotta start living more like that.
Often precipitated by his league-renowned trash talk.
What are you about to say?
Larry Bird told Robert Reedy the other day that he should have stayed in preaching. That was funny. He had 50 points.
I was guarding in my rookie year. He looked at me and he goes, "You can't stop me." And I looked at him and I said, "Gosh, boy, you're so confident." He proceeded to score like 10 straight points on me.
Dang.
Coach took me out the game. He walks by and he's laughing at me.
No, not while he on the bench, Larry. Give him a break. He a rookie, bro.
Genius. He'd be a step ahead, a thought ahead.
Julius
play the
Erving?
game like a chess game.
I'd much rather guard Michael Jordan than Larry Bird because you have to play the game as a thinker when you're playing him. You have to get inside his mind.
If you put all of us in a room, you know, Magic, Jordan, myself, and Bird probably be the guy who walks out of the room at the end of the day.
Did you notice something during those testimonies? Those are some of the best basketball players of all time, and they all sing Bird's praises like they were former assassins who had to go toe-to-toe with John Wick, and they're just happy to be alive. Bird excelled during one of the most talent-rich periods in league history. The abridged list of his basketball rivals goes like this. Dr. J and Moses Malone on the Philadelphia 76ers, Sidney Moncrief on the Milwaukee Bucks, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer and the Bad Boy Pistons, Dominique Wilkins on the Atlanta Hawks, Bernard King on the New York Knicks, Michael Jordan on the Chicago Bulls, Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson on the Houston Rockets, and of course, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, there's no point avoiding it any longer. We have to look at Magic versus Larry. If you have Magic over Larry, it's because he has 5 rings to Larry's 3, had a peak that lasted about 2 or 3 years longer than Larry's.
How do y'all feel about rings in the GOAT discussion?
Because he has 5 rings to Larry's 3, had a peak that lasted about 2 or 3 years longer than Larry's, and had a 2-1 record against Bird's Celtics in the finals. Perfectly legitimate, completely respectable arguments.
Okay.
But in the interest of making Bird's case, allow me to retort. For nearly the entire decade of the 1980s, the Eastern Conference was irrefutably the more competitive conference between the two. Considering the competition, for Bird to have made 5 finals appearances is just as impressive as Magic's 9. As for the head-to-head record responsible for Magic's 2 extra titles, he had more help. Seriously, the Celtics' Big 3 and the Lakers' Big 3 get compared all the time historically as if they were of equal caliber, but weren't Magic's accomplices just a step above Bird's? No disrespect at all to Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish, but Kareem was the alpha dog on the 71 Bucks and was the best player for at least 2 of the Lakers' 5 titles.
Kareem Cole.
James Worthy was the #1 pick out of UNC after winning a championship as the best player on a team that had Michael Jordan on it. Throw in the fact that Magic got to be coached by Pat Riley, one of the most brilliant minds in basketball history, and you could say that the Magic-Bird argument comes down to one thing: luck. So if their careers come down to luck, the question just becomes who you would rather take. Now, I'm not making this video to tell you why you shouldn't take Magic. I'm making this video to tell you why you should take Bird. Not just over Magic, but over everybody. One thing that helps him is the fact that his play would translate perfectly into the league today. A 6'9" sharpshooting forward with eyes in the back of his head who averaged double-digit rebounds in an era against Moses and Laimbeer. He'd
Especially
gobble up
with the
boards as a power
physicality.
forward.
Stop
He'd be an
around.
offensive mismatch
The
against
ability to play through
everybody as a
injury,
small ball
he'll be
center,
different.
and his off-ball skills
might be
and
one of the
passing
best
would
in the
pair
league right now.
perfectly with the flow
He'll
of today's
still be
game.
goated.
Add in his competitive mania and 3 generations worth of medical advancements, and we're talking about a player who could have stuck around so long they would have had to rename the league.
Yeah.
As you've been watching these clips of Bird, I would hope that you would notice something. He always knows
Effort.
where everybody is. Watching Bird play basketball is like watching those monsters from A Quiet Place
He do
that
know
know
where
where you
everybody
are
is.
if you make any noise at all. Bird had a level of clairvoyance that bordered on the unnatural. In '85, he ended up 1 steal away from a quadruple double after playing just the
Quadruple
first
double?
3 quarters. His passing was famously
Nah.
infectious and helped transform the Celtics of the '80s into an ideal that basketball teams at all levels are still shown tape of. They moved the ball with precision and intent, always looking for better shots and determined to get the entire team involved in the effort. That fact is almost
Teamwork.
entirely attributable to Bird and his wizardry with the ball. This acumen also helped Bird become the only player with a GOAT claim to transition successfully into other basketball roles after his playing career. In his 3 years as the head coach of the
Y'all was telling
Pacers,
me about
Bird
this.
won a Coach of the Year award, coached the Pacers to their first and only finals appearance, and
Oh,
gave
dang.
Michael Jordan as much trouble as he'd ever gotten in his career in the '98 Eastern Conference Finals. After moving into a front office role for Indiana, he won Executive of the Year in 2012, becoming
Yeah.
the only person to have an MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year award. On the court or off of it, inside and out, Larry Bird sees basketball as only he can. That intelligence also lent itself to Bird's
And it's beautiful that he could use his gift to, continue doing what he loved to do.
defining skill, making the big plays. Remember, NBA players get paid to win games. James Harden is getting paid nearly $40 million this year because he's supposed to help the Rockets win games. Victory
Oh,
can be
dang.
achieved in a lot of
I'm looking at
ways,
this in
and the win
2023,
column
it's not
doesn't
the
care
same.
how it happens. As Mark Sinclair once said,
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
Yeah?
but when your team is down 1 in a crucial playoff game with 8 seconds left, and you need to hit a shot to stay in the series and keep your season alive, that's where players really separate themselves and
Yo.
earn their money. Love it or hate it, it's the players that come through in the big moments that live forever
Facts.
in our memories. Some players, for whatever
Consistent
reason,
greatness.
were never able to do it consistently. Some players were truly
Dang, he
outstanding
throwing shots
at
at Patrick Ewing?
it. Larry Bird was the best at it.
The best? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to give you the stats about his field goal shooting under 2 minutes with a score that's this close, or tell you who has the most buzzer beaters, or any of that.
Take that for data.
I'm just going to show you clutch moments in clutch situations.
Let me see
1985 against the Blazers. Bird drops 48 points, including this.
48?
Down 1 with 2 seconds left.
Inbound pass, the double team and Bird. Larry.
Double team?
Fall away.
He dropped 48, double team in the corner, and he threw that thing up there in the net like it was a layup.
1985 against the Hawks. Bird sets the Celtics scoring record with 60 points with shots
60
like
ball?
They open the right side. Bird
Oh
the
my
ball
goodness.
away. He drills it again.
You can't play no better defense than that.
1986 against the Rockets. Not all of Bird's clutch moments were singular. The bigger the moment, the bigger his performance. In Game 6 of the 1986 NBA
Bro, it's literally 2 people on him right here. Double team.
The bigger the
They
moment, the
playing
bigger his performance.
smothered
In Game
defense on this
6
man.
of the 1986 NBA Finals, Bird clinches the championship with a triple-double in what he calls the best game he ever played.
Oh my goodness. No. Hey, Larry Bird different.
1987 against the Washington
Dang,
Bullets.
another one?
Bird hits one shot to tie
Oh.
it before it's waved off because of a timeout.
That's the one I seen that
Hits
they waved
another
off.
shot to tie it up for real.
Crowd is standing up. It goes now to Bird. Bird
No.
goes up top.
Bro, not in a row.
And then in double overtime, down 1, he does this.
It's going to go to Bird. He's
No.
got a shot. Get
And
it.
if I'm not wrong, they said that he told them that he was gonna shoot that,
Full
that
overtime,
joint right
down
there.
1, he does this.
One-legged
Go to
too.
Bird. He's got a shot.
I remember they was saying that the one leg was cold. Larry Bird, I done seen a couple times he hitting them one-legged joints.
For 3 years, from 1986 to 1988, the three-point contest knew no other champion but Larry Bird.
Damn.
He's still got to drop one here quickly. 14. This is a tie for the money. Yo!
Yeah. Yeah.
1987
Yeah, let's
Eastern
go.
Conference Finals, Game 5. Tied at 2 games apiece against the bad boy Pistons, this enormous game would put the winner 1 game away from the NBA Finals. The Pistons are up 1 with seconds remaining. The ball goes out of bounds off the Celtics.
Bro, this low-key
Isaiah
dangerous
Thomas
to have
just
them
needs
people
to
that
inbound
close
the
on
ball
side.
to win the game.
Dang, steal. Dime. Oh, yeah. Hey, that's big time. The awareness to get there for the steal and then dime it off.
There are truly too many big games and big moments for me to go through without this ending up as a documentary. But that all leads me to this, what I really want to talk about. 1987 NBA Finals, Game 4 against the Lakers. LA is up 2-1, and the Celtics need to win to tie the series and stay alive. Bird hits a 3 with 12 seconds left to go up by 2.
Defense. You can't leave Bird that open. You can't leave Bird that open.
Kareem comes down and gets fouled with 8 seconds left. He makes the first.
Okay.
But misses the second.
Oh.
LA ends up with the ball with 7 seconds left, down 1 point.
In the low post, being guarded by Dennis Johnson. Byron Scott is in the ball.
Oh.
Magic hits this, the baby skyhook.
Magic!
2 seconds left.
2 seconds?
Down 1.
Dennis Johnson on the inbound.
Larry. Oh my God.
What do you think happens?
Oh.
I bet it wasn't that. When I paused the tape and the ball was hanging in the air, you thought it was going in. Bird thought it was going in. Magic thought it was going in. I've seen this game before, and I still think it's going to go in.
Oh,
but it didn't.
What happened?
Pat Riley said it himself.
Hey.
We got lucky. And that, a missed shot in the NBA Finals is why he's the clutchest. Because after he makes the big plays, has the big games, hits the big shots, time and time again, you expect him to hit every shot, to win every game. And in those fleeting moments when he doesn't, when he looks like a mere human, when he looks like everyone else who tries to do what he does, you just can't believe it. That's what Larry Bird did. He made the big plays.
Bro, I literally ain't been watching him that long, and I thought he was about to splash that thing. And like they said, they just got lucky because he had it.
So often you thought
open.
he was going to make them every time.
It looked like it was about
He
to go in.
helps turn basketball into a global phenomenon, paving the way for every Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or LeBron James who comes through our lives. He played basketball in its purest form and captained a team that is consistently ranked among the greatest of all time. He has the second highest win percentage in the history of the NBA, behind Magic by less than 0.5%, about 10 games. He was the complete package, a player with no holes in his game whatsoever.
I didn't know
they
that.
called him Basketball Jesus. He didn't get that name without doing something extraordinary. He saved basketball. And he did it by playing it better than anyone else. Here's Magic at Bird's retirement in 1993.
Larry Bird said that there would be another Larry Bird one day. And Larry, there will never, ever, ever be another Larry Bird.
There may be somebody who's, they ain't gonna be somebody like Larry. Especially looking at the NBA today, there ain't gonna be nobody else like Larry. He was just, he had
the
too
greatest
many
basketball player ever.
attributes.
But more important, a friend forever.
And you can't take away the time that he did it. This was a great video, man. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to join that Vex mob. I really enjoy learning more about Larry. I know y'all see these tabs open. I'm going crazy on the reactions, but I really do enjoy watching these Larry Bird videos. It also give me inspiration in my actual life to go even harder and be such a better man. You know what I'm saying? So thank y'all for supporting me, and thank y'all for recommending this video, because this was an amazing video to watch. He definitely one of the greatest of all time, for sure.